You're listening to an ATYL Media production.
Everyone wants to be there on Sunday, but as every short tracker will tell you, there is no Sunday without Saturday night. And every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday night. This is the ballad of the sport's backbone, its hometown, its weekly star, and its greatest racing. This is Saturday night. This is On Tour.
Welcome back to the On Tour Report. My name is Buddy Pulley. I head up the short track coverage for ATYL Media, and I'm also a writer for Short Track Scene. This weekend, South Boston 200 is being dubbed as Murderer's Row. Now, if you don't know what Murderer's Row is, it's in reference to the New York Yankees baseball team of the 1920s, which were largely considered the best team in baseball history. And so the reference is to the entry list that they have, a 47 to 48 car entry list, which is by far the most stacked South Boston 200 entry list ever. That is the topic of conversation for today. But before we get into that, let's take you across the nation and get you caught up on all the late model action from this past weekend. Every week, all across the nation, late models own Saturday nights and even some Friday nights as well, as that's what kicks us off from this past weekend. Wake County Speedway had twin 45-lap features for the late model stock division. Landon Huffman took victory in both. You can catch extended coverage from Wake County on the YouTube channel here. Ace Speedway had twin features for their late model stock division as well. Death Taxes and Dustin Rumley, he remains undefeated in Altima Hall. Langley Speedway had twin 75-lap features as opposed to their normal twin 50s, and Connor Hall remains undefeated there. Tri-County Speedway, Landon Huffman made it 3 in a row, while over at Slinger, the first of the ASA Stars doubleheader weekend/week was won by Carson Brown, his third victory of the season. And the ASA Stars were at Madison on Tuesday, where Kyle Steckley took the win there. Now, let's check out what's coming up across the nation, as this weekend we have the opening round of the Virginia Triple Crown with the South Boston 200, of course. The Cars Tour West is at Evergreen for their pro late model division. The CRA Pros are in Jennerstown, and the ACT American Canadian Tour is at the Autodrome Caudière. I hope I pronounced that right, but either way, that is what's coming up across the nation. Now, before we take a deep dive into the entry list for this weekend's South Boston 200, we have a very special guest joining us, and really the only guest to have when talking about South Boston Speedway. By the end of it, he'll have you ready to run through a brick wall, or at least buy tickets to the race. Ladies and gentlemen, the general manager of South Boston Speedway, Brandon Brown. So we're here with my friend and yours, Brandon Brown, heads up all the operations and everything South Boston Speedway. Brandon, one, I appreciate you coming on to talk about the most stacked 200 ever. And two, how you doing?
Oh, we're doing great, man. I can't lie and say I'm not sleep deprived and stressed, but that's a really good problem to have because, as you said, it is the most stacked 200, I think, in history. I can't confirm 100%, but we, as of right now, we have the most entries in history. And the field is just a murderer's row of late model talent up and down. And we're really, really excited.
I'm going to use that one, Murderer's Row. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school baseball. Like look the origins of that one up.
I definitely will. That'll be somewhere in the back of my Dewey Decimal System. It'll get pulled out. But before we get into the 200 this weekend, I want people to, if for some reason they're watching this and they don't know who you are or why you are, give me basic elevator pitch. Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? What's your role at SoBo?
All right. So I am from Jaredstown, West Virginia, a little town in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, about 4 hours north of South Boston. If you hit 81 and just follow 81 till you hit the first exit after the Virginia line, that's where I grew up in West Virginia. Started watching NASCAR when I was about 7 or 8 years old with my gran and pap and just fell in love with it immediately. I was a race fan. We didn't grow up racing. I grew up watching racing, and Rusty Wallace became my childhood hero almost immediately after I started watching it. I lived and died by how he did on the track every single week. Just the fandom, I couldn't help it. And I knew from a young age that I wanted to work in racing, do something like I knew I wasn't a race car driver. We didn't grow up racing, like I said, but I seemed to always be good with words and things like that. So I ended up when I was in college, I ended up as a broadcast journalism major, wanting to be somebody like a Ken Squire or a Jerry Punch or um, Bob Jenkins, those types of guys. Eli Gold, another one. Those types of guys. Graduated journalism school, ended up being a newspaper writer and a publisher, and then got a job at Chicagoland Speedway as managing social media. And through that, I ended up going to a bunch of different NASCAR ISC tracks to do NASCAR social media during race weekends. Moved on to Richmond, did the same thing there. Worked for a dirt track racing company that had a relationship with SMI, and ended up at North Wilkesboro to head up media, public relations, and content at the Racetrack Revival, which, if you're a short track fan, I think you should
Yep.
probably know what that was. So three events, 3 weekends at North Wilkesboro in 2022. Modifieds, supers, and then obviously the Cars Tour finale when Dale Jr. came back with the Sundrop car.
Fun fact, that was kind of my reintroduction into late model racing was that night. So it's your fault.
I take full responsibility of the no. It was, I mean, a lot of people, Dale clearing the track out with those guys to get it on iRacing. And then it came available for our group to come in and promote the Racetrack Revival. And then I picked up and moved there and got to do that. And before you know it, I was, through my relationship when I was here at Richmond, I'd come down for the Thunder Road 200 every year, ironically enough. And through my relationship with Chase Brashears, he thought that I'd be a good fit for being the general manager here. And then I applied for the job a few years ago. And it's funny, at the 200 3 years ago, I had my interview to be general manager of the Speedway, and I accepted the job after they offered it to me, sitting in the office at Langley Speedway at the Hampton Heat that year.
Wow.
So,
wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. I would imagine, SoBo is revered as one of the most historic and one of the best short tracks there is. I think everybody can agree, no disrespect to any other track on the circuit, but if any track should get a national touring date, SoBo, at least would be at the top of my list. So with that said, to put as much pressure on you as possible, was there a lot of pressure on you to take over South Boston?
I would lie if I say it wasn't, because you grow up watching racing, even if you grow up watching cup racing like I did, and not necessarily watching local short track racing. You knew South Boston because of how revered and how special and how iconic it was throughout the 90s with the Burtons, Ward Burton and Jeff Burton from South Boston and Virginia. They're winning races in the 90s. And you're hearing this. And then you watch the Busch Series races and the Truck Series races in the late 90s, and you get to know something about South Boston Speedway and how special it is. And so that's always one of the tracks that you hear about, no matter what kind of fandom you are in American motorsports, with South Boston Speedway. So, and then coming in after Chase, knowing Chase and what he did here in the operations side, and following Kathy Rice, who's an absolute legend. It's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, especially my experience at North Wilkesboro, I felt like it prepared me well for it, and saw all of the things that had to go into running a racetrack. And then when I got here, it was trial by fire, and I will lie if I say it wasn't really, really hard and challenging. And then you realize all the stuff that you don't know, and there would be something. There still is. I mean, honestly, but those first few years, there was something every day that I didn't have the answer to, and had to ask tough questions, and have these little mini failures in different areas before you try to get it right. Especially with all that pressure on top of you, because this is such an iconic racetrack. So all that together is a lot of pressure. And that's why you see these gray hairs. Right, 3 years ago, these grays, I went bald a long time ago. So, but these grays weren't here 3 years ago. But I feel like I earned them.
I definitely did. At least the work definitely shows. Fast forwarding to like what's going on this year at South Boston,
Hmm.
it's always had great racing, but
Uh-huh.
this year I made the claim. I'm not going to lay claim to making this claim. I said it was appointment viewing because the racing this year, I can't think of a race this year that I wasn't just absolutely enamored by. And to have, Trevor Ward, Peyton Sellers, Landon Pimbleton, all three are in the conversation for a national title, and all three of them are running at your racetrack every single week. Just talk about that and how proud of you
Phew.
of you are.
Ridiculously proud, because if they didn't, trust us to, you know, do everything that we can to put on a great show and a great facility and market them properly and be good stewards of racing and their race teams, they wouldn't be racing here. Just like Trevor Ward and Landon Pimpleton, like Peyton's run here forever, and he continues to do so. But both Landon and Trevor started running here on a weekly basis after I got here. And so both of them have, told me how, we promote correctly. We do the right content. We treat them properly. We got everything, doing everything right. And to have them trust us to run here on a weekly basis when they have any other track that they want to run at, if they want to puddle jump tracks and do this and that, or run the car store or whatever, it means a whole lot for any team or any driver to show up and race here on any given weekend. It especially means a lot to know drivers of that caliber want to call this place home.
And you mentioned to the promotion at South Boston. You guys do it just about as good, if not better, than anybody. And I want you to talk a little bit more about that and how important that is, and how much you've seen it meant to the drivers that are racing at your track.
Well, like I said, I come from a social media background, and I didn't, obviously, people my age didn't grow up with social media, because guess what? It didn't exist. Number one, and it didn't exist when I was in college either.
They didn't promote
Really,
racing on MySpace.
not that. Well, they might have. Tom might have had Mark Martin or something in his top friends, if you get that reference. But no, so that was like, I didn't learn that in college. You had to, like, take your journalistic skills and teach yourself how to do social media. So over the course of Chicagoland and Richmond and dirt racing and all that stuff, I just kind of learned how to do it on my own, and just figured out that the best way to do it is to just talk racing with people. That's the best thing that you can do, is hold yourself to a high standard and then talk racing with people. And that's what I did. I would live tweet every race at Chicagoland, every race, trucks, Xfinity, Cup, every single one of them on TV, whether they were at Kansas or Talladega or Daytona or New Hampshire. I was on there live tweeting during the races with them. And so I learned how to do that. And I learned how to talk to race fans in the digital space. And so you learn a little bit more about video editing or content creation and how to do it right. And just the little things that you learn that people really relate to on social media. You pair that all together, and I think we hit it on all the right notes in that space, because we take a lot of care with it. And it's not, I mean, it's free. Like, we have great talent and great resources. Myself and Paul Burnham, our broadcast producer, has been doing all of our graphics for the Thunder
Shout out
Road
to them.
200. Shout out Paul Burnham, because he's busted his butt doing that. But we've got great talent here. But even if you don't have a graphics person, even if you don't have the best video editing skills, so everybody's got a cell phone that they can go talk to a driver and put it on Facebook or do something. And I think that we just take that great care to go do that. And all you got to go do is do it. It's just possible, and it's free. So I've had a lot of great stories from drivers that just kind of come up and say, "Man, you guys really do a great job. No matter if it's late models or Hornets, pure stocks, limiteds, you just make sure that you talk to us and tell the stories." And the best thing that we can do is, how can fans relate to the drivers? How can they create an emotional investment to a Hornets driver, like Landon Milam with a bounty and stuff?
Yeah,
All right, he's got a
100%.
bounty on him. What can we do? Paul made the wanted poster for Landon. Like, all right, that it took maybe an hour to do or whatever. And
Mhm.
it got so much play, and all of a sudden, like, people make a, connection to that, or to a driver, and then you do it that way. So long answer just to say that we
Yeah.
care and that we try to do it right.
100%. I think that is something that, like you said, is free to do, is to care and make an effort. And I think that's something that sometimes gets lost. That I think would help short track racing as a whole for sure. This weekend, South Boston 200. We said it. It seems to be the most stacked 200 yet. Obviously, Lee Pulliam, you're running a JRM car. You have Truck Series drivers. You have all the stars of late model racing. Tell me about what we should expect this this weekend.
Oh, expect the unexpected, because you don't know how this you don't know how it's going to stack up. With this talented of a field up and down, you could be a tenth or two off in qualifying and running in the LCQ. Like, maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm going to hope that it's that close of a field, but that's what you can expect, is the unexpected. Is you have the most talented late model drivers around right now that are going to be racing in this event, like from other tracks, from Langley. We're billing it as SoBo versus Langley versus
Yeah.
the world. That's what. And Joe's
Yeah.
writing Joe Chandler. Shout out to Joe Chandler, the esteemed, incomparable Joe Chandler,
Absolutely.
our head of PR, who prepares our announcers, our social media folks, and myself, to do our job properly in promotion with all the stats and facts and figures and everything. But he's writing a press release right now telling the story of, look, we've got this core great group of drivers, and then this great group of drivers from Langley are coming in. Woody Howard, a Hampton Heat champion, Riley Music, a former winner
Yeah.
there, Connor Hall, obviously, who I'm putting on Team
Yes.
Langley right now, obviously, for obvious reasons. Connor
Yeah.
Hall, going for 3 in a row, and
Yeah.
coming back, running his family car at Langley, and whooping up on him. And now he's back with Nelson Motorsports driving the 22. And then you got, Landon Huffman's a champion. On and on and on. I was going through right now. I've got the entry list up right now. I can tell Trey Cruz running with RNS, a champion
Yeah.
here in his own right. Minnie Tyrell, who we just announced today, it just won Dominion Cars Tour. Truck Series driver, won the race for the seat right
Yep.
here last year. Again, look up
His
Murderers
teammate
Row.
Butterbean.
Yeah, Butterbean. Who?
Yeah.
Without saying, Butterbean, Hampton Heat champion, Langley champion, Cars Tour champion, Truck Series driver. Crazy good talent up and down. I'm waiting for Jeff Gordon to put in his entry blank right now and come out
That's
of
right.
retirement.
There's still time.
Yeah, there's still time. We ain't closing it yet. But yeah, it's just really cool, and it feels really great and special to know that these drivers think this way about this race and us, and know that when they come through the gate, they're going to be treated right and respected to the time that they leave, no matter if it's operations or tech inspection or throughout our marketing process or anything. That means so much.
And talk too about the partnership with you and Langley Speedway and Martinsville as well in this whole Virginia Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm. So that was started back in the day between Kathy Rice and Bill Mullis and Clay Campbell. They started that to kind of just meld these 3 great Virginia races together and build something with it. And they did such a wonderful job. And it's, it started to get legs before I got here. You started to hear about the Virginia Triple Crown and what it means in this race and how special it is in all 3 races. Obviously, we know the Hampton Heat is its own animal. Like, I used to work the Hampton Heat, and it was 105 degrees. It's like just this gnarly, like,
Definitely got the name right.
like, yes, they did. And it's such a wonderful event. And then Martinsville, the Valley Star 300 is Martinsville's Martinsville.
Yeah.
We all know how great that race is too. So, but when I got here, I was like, we all 3 of us are NASCAR sanctioned racetracks. All 3 of us have a relationship with NASCAR Regional and Flow Racing. All of our races for Langley and us are on Flow. So how can we meld everything together? And we just started the conversation, and so got the NASCAR content team involved, our buddies at Flow all together, and then got the point fund to be elevated and really work together and have have calls and meetings and stuff to make sure that everything about the Triple Crown can be highlighted and elevated, and it's really taken off in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, and you when you talk to a driver, it's what are you doing this year? Well, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm running the Triple Crown, and there's a reason for it. It's
Hmm.
become extremely prestigious. Other than the stacked entry list and everything we've talked about, the racing at SoBo sells itself. But to anybody watching this that is on the fence about showing up on Saturday, sell it to them. What should
Oh
we
man,
expect?
fireworks on and off the track, baby. Like that's what it is. I've got it in our digital at fireworks on and off the track. I mean, we're gonna have an LCQ based on if all the entries hold right now. We're gonna have an LCQ for the first time since I've been here. I don't know if we've ever had one like based on the field sizes, but we're in LCQ territory. So the full day is going to be ridiculously important. You want to be here in the stands because, like I said, you cannot experience this any other way other than in person in full. Qualifying is going to be so important as we set the first 34 spots. After that is going to be everybody else is going to be in LCQ, and you're going to see some champions, some winners, some heavy hitters in that LCQ, depending on how their qualifying lap is. That's going to be must see TV in itself because we've got some people that are going to be going home from this event that may be a champion somewhere or a winner somewhere, which is crazy to think about. So that can't be missed. And then obviously the 200, you say it sells itself, but I mean, the best of the best are going to be door to door racing each other, and it's going to be wild. The experience for the fans, we're going to have a full midway of stuff to do and things to see and the patriotism of America 250. Like I said, the fireworks afterwards, just all the cool stuff that you can expect here. And then the racing is going to be incredible. I can guarantee it.
100%. Brandon, I appreciate you so much for coming on and talking about this weekend's 200. You're one of the hardest working people in short track racing, and I appreciate you as not only like more of a mentor and a friend for sure too. So, SoBo 200 this Saturday night on Flow Racing.
Okay. All right. Hold on. You got to let me have my sales pitch. You
Go
got to
for
let
it.
me do it. All
Go
right.
for it.
All right. Thunder Road Harley Davidson 200, the 20th running of the race. 20th running of the race. Lee Pulliam going for seven. Seven. He won six in a row. All six of his races were in a row from 2011, 2016. Connor Hall going for three in a row. Bobby McCarty going for three. Peyton Sellers going for three. That's going to be incredible. Let's do tickets. $20 in advance, $25 at the gate, 12 and under kids. 12 and under are free. Bring the family. We've got discount no matter if you buy online or at the gate. If you're a senior, military veteran, first responder, student, you can get in for $20 at the discounted price. So where else are you going to find a full day of fun for that amount of money? You can sit in the stands. We've got you can have a little radio and listen to our radio frequency and listen to the announcers. Blake McCandless, James Pike on pit road, Kyle and Scott in the booth with them. Going to be awesome, an awesome time. Visit southbostonspeedway.com /TRHD200 to get your tickets.
Incredible. It just means more, huh?
I don't doubt it. You don't doubt it, man.
That's right. Saturday night. This is Saturday night. This is one of the biggest Saturday nights there is. So thank you so much, Brandon.
Ain't no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Now, we're calling this the most stacked SoBo 200 entry list ever, and there's a reason for that. Look at it. 47 strong, actually 48 as we had a late entry that's not listed here that I'll get into here in just a little bit. This is being dubbed SoBo versus Langley versus the world, if you've seen some of the marketing around this. Kicking us off, Chase Burrow, obviously a Langley regular. He ran the weekly show at South Boston a couple of weeks ago, or probably a month or so ago at this point. Thomas Bean obviously races at Hickory and Tri-County mostly. And then we get to Brendan McQueen, bringing Bean Nation back to the 200 at SoBo. He's also driving the Lee Pulliam Performance 03. He finished third at Dominion in his first race back in a late model stock. So big things out of Brendan, of course. You have some of the regulars, Landon Pimbleton. If it wasn't for the blown motor a couple weeks ago, he likely would be very close to or in the South Boston weekly points lead. Andrew Grady, a regular there. Brandon Pierce, the new Cars Tour Ironman. Of course, have Parker Eatman, Carson Brown, Brandon Lopez. Bobby McCarty, obviously, is going to be a name that we all look at. SoBo 200 winner before. Your sleeper pick right here, Connor Waddell. He's finished third like 458 times this year at South Boston Speedway. So I'd be taking a look at Little Seaweed. Now, his number 8 counterpart, Lee Pulliam. That's obviously the big story. He's driving a Junior Motorsports number 8 car. Lee, of course, he won for the first time in almost 7 years at South Boston on opening night. He's run several races throughout the year, but to return with Junior Motorsports, he raced with them at the Thanksgiving Classic back in November, and then obviously the O'Reilly Auto Parts race at Martinsville. But to have him in a JRM car at the SoBo 200 is a huge deal. Obviously, defending winner Connor Hall, which we'll get to here in a minute, was in a Junior Motorsports car. They're always good here. Ryan Millington in the number 9 after splitting ways with Taylor Satterfield. Ronnie Bassett Jr., huge opportunity for Ronnie. He obviously runs very well in his traditional 04 car, but he gets to hop behind the wheel of a Nelson Motorsports number 12. Obviously, Nelson, this is right in their backyard, so they always put a lot of effort into the 200 in particular. Minnie Tyrell is in the RNS house car, the number 16 Ram entry. Caden Honeycutt, of course, he's won actually, I believe, the last 2 South Boston races he's entered. He won the Cars Tour race last September and then the Orange Crush race in November. Carson Lofton, his second race with Mike Darn Racing. Connor Hall, he's won the last 2 SoBo 200s. He's the defending Triple Crown champion, and he's back with Nelson Motorsports. He obviously won with Nelson in 2024. So he's obviously going to be someone we look at as probably high on the priority list when it comes to picks. Peyton Sellers. It's Peyton Sellers at South Boston Speedway. I mean, that's it. They go together like peanut butter and ladies. That's terrible. Anyway, Lando Lewis, KHI, for the first time in my memory that they are running anything other than a Cars Tour race. So it'd be fun to see what Landon can do there. Connor Jones, obviously someone to look at. Riley Music, a Langley regular. He also, the same race that Chase Burrow ran a couple weeks ago, he was in that as well. Donovan Strauss is back with Hettinger Racing, still with number 51, but with Hettinger again, so that's interesting. Michael Bumgarner, obviously the guy who's dominated Hickory for the past year and a half. He's driving the Rick Ware number 51. Chase Johnson, a regular at SoBo. Landon Huffman, Trevor Ward, not only the South Boston points leader, but the national weekly series points leader. Blake Stallings, a regular. Doug Barnes Jr., Caden Quapple, and then Sam Yarbrough rounds out the field. Not listed here is the number 27 of Matthew LaPrade. That's a second entry for Tom Usry Racing. So that's obviously going to be a fast car, judging from the fact that Caden Honeycutt has won the past 2 races at South Boston. He's entered with that car. Yeah. So yeah, if you have plans Saturday night, cancel them. I promise you, it'll be worth it. Really, that's going to do it. There's not a whole lot else going on in the world of late model racing outside of the 200. So yeah, follow us at On Tour ATYL on Instagram. You can follow me at the Buddy Pulley on Facebook. Of course, subscribe to the channel, like it, comment, tell 5 friends. We have a lot of cool content that's coming. We have a lot of cool content that's already up. And you're going to stay up to date on everything in the world of late model racing, and even some modified coverage, which will be coming later this week as well. With that, I'll be at South Boston this weekend. My co-host on the main show, Chuck Folsom, will be there as well doing some pit reporting. So if you see us down there, be sure to stop and say hello. But thank you guys, of course, so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.